Hello, everybody, and welcome to DM Writer's Room, a show where we demystify the DMing process and where the guy who runs the stream forgets to put the music on week after week after week. And that's a
One day
promise,
we'll learn.
and that's a promise that I make to you. That's a promise. You don't get that everywhere. You know what I mean? Not every show gives you that opportunity.
I'm back.
Today, hello, Michael. Today, we are going to be delving into the world.
Are we
No.
live?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, I didn't start Twitch yet.
No! Well, YouTube, welcome to the secret early stream. You're our favorites today.
There you go. Now we're good.
Now we are going to kick things off. We are delving into the world of D100 horror. We have a tentatively titled system that we have been working on in the background. I have been loosely calling it the Tower. You may remember it from some earlier streams. We had a couple of other names sort of kicking around the old can there. But we haven't settled on anything super duper specific yet. So for now, we're just going to be going with a sort of D100 horror generically is what we're going to call it. And today we're going to try to make a scenario for that world. And I think it's important for us to note that that's the world we're making, because we're going to be referencing some organizations, some corners of this fair globe. I'm guessing music is no longer an option. Has our bot failed us?
Is looking like it.
At least that one won't work. So I'm gonna try a new song, and we'll see.
Oh, like If You Cry Every Time. These things, they do happen. This has happened to us before. We will endeavor ahead all the same.
Temporarily not available. We might have to get a new bot.
Oh, Like If You Cry Every Time.
We gotta play. We gotta do this one raw. We get no music.
Uncut.
Michael,
like
go ahead and grab
this?
an instrument. Start playing in the background. I'll do vocals.
This is
There
not
we
a
go.
joke. Back in the day, Polygon used to stream PUBG Battlegrounds,
Mhm.
and when they would die, when the characters would die, they would just start screwing around and doing other things. And Justin McElroy would take out a guitar and start singing, and it was
Here's the best part.
and it was my favorite shit in the world. And then at some point they told him he had to stop, and I stopped watching the stream. I was like, that's
That's the way to do it.
bullshit. That was my favorite part, was to every now and again it would just, Justin would just start singing Jolene, and you'd be like, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, totally. So for those of you who missed it, D100 horror is our tentative sort of theme is occult pulp. So you are solving mysteries in an occult and strange world. There's a little bit of a sense that you can shoot a machine gun at Cthulhu, but not too much. We're not going so far that it stops being horror progression, or at least that's the goal. In the background, we've been sort of working on this in the interim, including our first ever Florida business meeting, which was me driving to go chat about some of the options. Notably, we have some organizations. We have the library, who collect magical secrets that can be used to basically learn spells. We have brokers, which is what happens when the job that the library does is run by a random idiot, the kind of person that would invest in crypto, who's just trying to make a buck off of their, let's say, no, because crypto does make money every once in a while. The kind of guy that would invest in NFTs, who's just loose in the background talking about the blockchain a lot. We have the Coven, and then we have my personal favorite, Hunt, a name of Spencer's invention, the Homeland Unit of Non-Existential Threats, the United States solutions to problems that do not threaten the existential reality of humanity or reality at large, which consists of a number of sub-organizations, including, but certainly not limited to, COB, the Center of Obstructive Bureaucracy, the people who set up traffic jams, close transit, and fill out forms to keep the world safe. Studs, the surreptitious terrestrial undercover department, undercover task force here to handle non-existential threats with physical violence, and of course Pixie, the periphery intelligence and xenological investigation ensemble, who suppress memories, fix the buildings, hide the events, delete the videos, and anybody who was there thinks it was all just a dream. And the backdrop for this is that your characters are, in the best of cases, unstable madmen who believe that they can save the world. We sort of have this tack on that it's almost the way you view your own character should be almost chivalrous, because to do anything other than sink into despondency, somebody would need to be a little bit full of themselves. So then our 6 stats are might, alacrity, constitution, will, knowledge, and glamour. And we have sort of a pastiche of a kind of joyous launching into tomorrow that is tentatively, I think, at least for me, heavily inspired by a Delta Green campaign that Spencer and I ran, and the vibe that we managed to capture with that gang of absolute idiots, including the great and eternal Michael Champion, long may he reign. We are now delving into an adventure, a sort of adventure path, which means we are going to follow a group of adventurers from the cryptid stage, where they're dealing with a small local threat that can be handled by gunfire, to the elder stage, large, difficult to understand threats that hint at further darkness, to the outsider stage, large, terrible, shadowy things causing many problems across the world, ancient threats that are only handled by terrible strain, and then void, the final step, the source of this ill on earth, a truly dark and unfortunate thing, your odds of surviving unlikely. And then finally, our fail state, which is tier 5, the unknown. If you could turn back time, is pretty much the only way you're going to save anything. Most likely, the world will never be the same, but you just have to hope that you can get out your craft scissors and snip out an island of safety and see if you can't solve the problem just enough that another generation will live normal lives in 60 years. So most adventures end, we've said in the past, most adventures end at outsider. The average path does not hit void. That is some real, like, multiple that's like we've stuck together 6 adventures. Our characters have lived and died in these many worlds, and now it is time for us to put a series wrap on our campaign. And so we're going to maybe have one that extends that far. So we need to at least hit Cryptid, Elder, and Outsider today. And then we can shoot for Void if we're feeling fancy.
For D&D fans, that's like getting to a level 20 campaign. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably not doing it. Most people are never going to play at that level. Michael?
I do have an idea for a cryptid that we haven't talked about. That is, it's in stories, but in a weird way.
Okay.
The cryptid is the monster under your bed.
Very fun. That is very fun.
Okay.
A boogeyman?
Yeah, it could be a set of monsters that are under beds. It could be the boogeyman under your bed. It just the thought of, like, kids always screaming about monsters under their beds.
So let's pin this down. Let's start here. It's a good place to start. So we're making a d100 horror adventure that expands in scope as you continue. You are playing seekers, these people who venture out into the world believing that there is some slice of reality that they can bring to these things. You might start as an inadvertent attaché, but with quick progression, you will find yourself pulled in more and more. This is the setting that we have created, so you are not clutching onto your sanity as it leaks away from you, like in Call of Cthulhu. In this case, it is your ignorance that you lose. And there are benefits to losing ignorance. There are also costs. So unlike the sort of typical version of this system where losing sanity just sort of eventually drags your character into an unplayable state, losing ignorance gives you more options until you run out of them. We have made very clear that by like tier 2 or 3 of losing ignorance, your character is getting to the point where they can't relate to other people very well, the struggles of life, and most importantly, the namesake for my tentative working title of the tower has probably noticed them by now. These outside forces trying to keep the world safe will eventually identify you as the threat. So in this adventure, we are dealing with the monster under the bed. We need to take one of 2 paths here. Is there a monster under the bed? Or are there monsters under beds? If I was to say the way that these 2 pitches would emerge, in my mind, if it is a monster under the bed, I think that we have a small string of killings or disappearances, and accounts of something being found under a bed, like of that is one of the last things that happened in the situation, have spread and reached the ears of your seekers who are now here to investigate. Maybe they're locals, maybe they're outsiders, maybe they are already a group of seekers who have banded together to solve this case. You arrive, you make the investigations and inquiries that you are able to, trying to track down some of the outsides of this, and you discover that there is this predatory hunter moving from home to home. I think it would have to be in a city. We would need the scope to be large enough, right? Because or at least like big town. It can't be a hamlet with 210 people living there, or it's too much of a case. That's option one. Option two is in different places across the same state. The same MO has been happening. The media thinks it is a serial killer who somehow is traversing New York State, going from one corner to the other in a day or 2 days to perform these acts. They seem random, it's hard to track. You guys slowly become aware that the reason that they are able to happen so far apart so quickly is that it is different creatures that are coming from somewhere nearby. So those are kind of the two options that I see if we want to stick with the monster under the bed thing. We have one central thing that you are tracking versus many, and then you're playing the game of how do we minimize damage and how do we track it down. So do we like that split focus, or do we like the more direct mystery angle of there is something stalking people here?
I'm always a bigger fan of there being a single monster earlier so things can feel wider later. Now, hear me out. I could see this happening in a town where there's this one creature. If there's like a belief thing behind it, I think that could be fun. Where it's like the children were told a story about this creature in this, library or classroom. They heard about this and it's spread amongst those kids. Then they were telling playground tales to the other kids nearby. And each person who's heard that story has had the monster under their bed, or they will, because they believe it to be real. And that's where the creature comes from. So
Okay.
really, it's a mission of tracking down who heard the story and where the story came from.
So is this a purely psychic creation? Is this something that feeds on fears and anxieties and sort of drifts from place to place? Because remember, at the cryptid stage, it's okay for it to seem a little bit like something out of a story. It is as we expand that we become aware that it connects to something darker. So is this some like psychic creation that is made in the logos of your mind and appears in the shadows under your bed? Or is this something that is physical and stalks those who know about it, right? Two very different things. Because in my mind, one of them is this like psychic trawler that can like emerge Hounds of Tyndalos style. It just tears through reality wherever somebody is like too much ensorcelled by it. And the other one I almost see as like an alien bioweapon, where it's like, oh, this thing is assigned to a secret that it keeps. And so the thought that like some far distant, like ancient civilization made a weapon. What does the weapon do? Anybody who knows this thing, it kills. So it's basically like the yellow sign. You get an image in your mind and you don't understand it. And you never could. You'd never be able to do anything with it. But because you have an image in your mind that you will never understand and that you have no context for, this interplanetary security drone is going from house to house killing anybody who knows the secret. Those are two very different takes.
I feel like I want to take both because I like the idea that the further out you get, the more you realize that it's a defense mechanism. But I want to keep sort of the psychic creature image because I like the idea that each person who's heard the story visualizes the creature differently, especially given who tells the story next. So like the first time, it's a creature with like long black fur and big claws. So when you investigate under the child's bed, there's like matted fur on the ground. But then the next child who had heard the story, who tells the next group, doesn't describe it that way. It describes it as like small and quick, and you see like scratch marks all over the room running around. You're like, it seems like a different creature every time.
So
Hmm.
so
I'm cool with
basically
it playing off of like people's fears.
so
That's
basically
psychic.
some fucking space bullshit call of some star spawn of Cthulhu. If we integrate the two ideas, I like that. Made a quantum security drone. Where is it?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever people know the secret it's meant to defend. Oh, like regardless, yes. Once you know, and so basically now what I'm imagining is somewhere on the planet, something crashed into Earth and they stuck it in a vault and everybody who saw the thing died and they went, let's leave it in the vault. And at some point recently it has, there's a hole in the fence is my classic way of saying it when I am prepping. I always look for the hole in the fence. And now there is a hole in the fence. This image is out there. And so basically it sounds like, so this is a real creepypasta circling in this town.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
works. It's a creepypasta that works. You see this
Mhm.
image. This thing is programmed to defend, to respond to anybody learning the secret by killing it. But to them, it looks like a straight up Nightmare on Elm Street ass curse. I like that. So let's not zoom out too far until we get to the next stage. So let's zero in here. Here's what I need to know. Where are these people seeing this thing? Are they seeing it on the internet? In which case, makes expansion very easy. Also makes this very hard to control. How are people? Are they just texting it to each other and it's kind of done already? That would be bad. So that has benefits and negatives. Or can this image like not exist on the internet? If you try to upload it, does it non-function? And so this is a analog horror VHS tape ass thing that is happening in this town. And maybe that's a fun, like, what do you call it? A fun counterbalance, a fun juxtaposition where it's like, this is modern. This is our world. There are cell phones. People are doing stuff. What are they passing around? A like photocopy, like a grainy black and white photocopy is making its way around
Hand
town.
drawn.
Yeah. So what do we want? How are people encountering this thing? How did this picture get here? What happened? How did this thing end up here? Is there a government site? Are we going are we full government black site in cryptid stage? Or is this somebody got a package in the mail?
It's hard. It's hard. Government black site feels overplayed to me, but it's also sort of the introductory adventure to our system.
No,
I think that that's fun.
Don't think about it as an introductory adventure, because I think the other option is it's a fucking chain letter. They got a shit. This used to happen. I think they pop open their mailbox and there is a fucking chain letter in there, and the people that don't open it. It's also a good like metaphor for ignorance in the setting. The people who go,
It's
"Oh, I don't
true.
know who that is," and they put it into a shredder, never see it. And they are untouched by this darkness. The people who open it because they get curious have already sold their lives away. They just don't know it yet. So I don't have any problem with it being a chain letter and us saying the black site will come later if it comes at all.
And we had talked in our meeting about being able to push off some of your loss of ignorance by telling other people the things that you've seen and that damaging them. That would make sense. Where it's like, if you tell somebody else, you're going to feel better about it. If you spread it around, you take less like ignorance damage.
Yeah.
So the NPCs doing it, spreading it, makes sense because they're like, I feel like I needed to say it.
Yeah. And now my follow-up is, how far into the it follows of it all is this? Does this creature hunt the most recent sighting? Or is it that its focus is scattered among the... Like, can you survive this thing attacking you? That's the real question. Can you survive that? Or is it, once it arrives, you are essentially already dead unless this poor creature goes after a Navy SEAL? Is it like already taken care of and it's like, oh shit. Like, this thing's already taken care of. Because I think we have some element there, right? Somebody wakes up in the middle of the night, they shoot it. If it can die, maybe it being spread out means it is less dangerous in each of its forms because it is so spread. And that's why somebody is just mailing out chain letters with pictures of the symbol, because they were being assaulted in their compound that they made to try to survive. And now they can, bang a couple of slugs into this thing and it goes down and they're like, all right, cool, now I can survive. And that means the people who see it sort into two categories. Gun nuts who wake up in the middle of the night to see a creature in their room, shoot it, and then it vanishes into smoke. And when somebody comes and asks, they go, I gotta get CO2 alarms or something because I saw a Grimpus. I saw a Krampus in my dining room. And everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, all right, sure. Or option 2 is it follows. It goes after the most recent person to have seen it, and that person's cooked. They are dead. This thing shows up, and it is immediately an apex predator, and there is no chance for survival.
I think option 1, because I like the idea of tracing back the information to the guy in the compound. If he sent them packages and there's like a return address on all of them so they can go to him to ask what's going on, I think that that's cool. So that guy can be like, what you need to do is this. So when your party gets there, you're like, well, where did you get the package? They say, it says Jim, and this is his address. But he's like a state away, so you can't go there right away. But after this leg of the adventure's done, you can go hit up Jim and be like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, oh, well, government black site. You know, you got to go to this spot to do it.
Now, wait a minute. Cool. Is it fun or stupid if when you track this down, you're expecting to find a guy in a cabin in the woods? I think maybe there's not like a full return address, but there is enough for you to go find it.
Yeah.
Is it fun if you show up and it's a dude living in a cabin in the woods? Or is it fun if you show up and it's like a member of Cobb who's like, hey, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, my job, my only job is to mail 10 photocopies of that picture every day. That's your only job? Yeah, because I need to research the addresses and the people. I need to make sure that they aren't connected to anyone important and that they have no connection to local or state legislature, and that they don't have too many friends and family. And then, and that took a lot of research, and I do that every day. And it's like,
you know, it would be really fun.
What?
If they were like, yeah, we go for the people who are like registered firearm carriers. We're trying to give them the best shot.
So I guess
shooting the guy.
So I guess my follow-up question is then, I'm afraid we're leaning a little. I'm afraid we're starting to head in a fun but too pulpy direction, which is what we've done now is created a sort of rootin' tootin' cowboy faction that are because they're attacked every night, right? They've seen this thing. How many times can that happen before our scenario breaks down and doesn't make sense anymore? Because it doesn't, it starts to kind of lose traction with me when it's like, yeah, but they get attacked every night. How many nights are they going to be able to survive this? How many nights until they get a picture of it, until they go public? True. So how do we balance that out? My first assumption is it's just very small exposure. Like it's not that there's 20 people who they don't send 10 letters a day. It is some asshole's job to mail somebody once a year or whatever. But why?
Just to make sure that there's a spread out amount.
Because
they would keep attacking because it's like an intellect devourer. It's trying to get anybody who has the secret. Weakening it by sending it out to those people makes sense if you're dealing with a survivor who just wants to have the best chance of himself surviving the night. When it's Cobb, it makes less sense, unfortunately.
And even the survivor doesn't make like a load of sense because he is just weathering nightly attacks, and as this spreads to many other corners, Michael's the psychic's gonna get you, and as it's spreading to the many corners of the world, this dude just doesn't have to hide so hard each time.
He doesn't have to set up like mine explosions. He can just shoot it with a regular gun.
So where does this thing appear then? Does it appear within 100? Does it appear within a mile of you and then tries to track you down? Because I could get into that, because that would mean that most people who live on the 3rd floor of an apartment building never encounter it. Why? Because it conjures 800 feet from me. I don't know. Like I don't see it. It's when does it break into a house? Because I think if it literally, the problem is our core concept here is it shows up under your bed. If it shows up under your bed, you're dead.
Mm.
You have died. It doesn't matter what that guy does. It doesn't matter if he mails this letter to 100 people, because it's never going to get easier for him. It's a quick draw McGraw contest against a creature that is under your bed while you're asleep.
True. True.
So I think we either
Let's-
need to like
we gotta
lean on-
rewind.
We either need to lean
I think
onto the-
rewind a good bit. Because we
I think it can-
definitely convoluted.
I think it's a single monster. I think we're in a big town. I think it's a psychic crawler that looks for whoever learns this secret. And I think somebody sent a chain letter to town. I think we've only been heading in a weird direction for like 5 minutes. I don't think we need to go too far
Okay.
back. My question is just, why send the chain letter? Why did they send it? Is there a benefit? Does this creature not go after you? Does it prioritize whoever has the picture? Is there a Polaroid of this symbol that's getting mailed around? That might be fun. And then your mission is just burn the fucking Polaroid. In which case that guy went, fuck it, threw the Polaroid in a envelope and mailed it off. But then my question is, why didn't he burn it?
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that we could do like a government whistleblower scenario where this person sent information from this black site who was like, oh my god, I've discovered some terrible truth. They send it to like the local news. The local news gets it, and then they start sending out the information via newspaper. Probably not TV because it can't be a digital footprint. So they're sending this out like on paper. Like, this is a thing to look out for. We have this whistleblower. That has then corrupted the people before he even knew that was going to happen. So then you find more information from him about the government, not the monster.
I just need that paper to be the Sasquatch Gazette and for it to have 3 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I
nobody else
need
is
for
gonna
that
run
to
that
work.
story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is so you get there, you arrive, and it's like, oh, these 3 people have something in common. What do they have in common? They each subscribe to this like weird fringe newspaper. You go to the newspaper, it's in some guy's house. You go in and you find him smeared across 2 rooms. And you're like, oh no. This guy got the story, got excited, wrote it up, printed it out, printed his like 20 copies. And I think you see the 3 copies that were mailed out are missing. And you see a stack of like 17 copies that he didn't mail out. Immediately you're like, the exposure on this sucks. Like the exposure on this sucks. You burn that guy's house down. And now you need to try to go find the other 2 people who haven't been killed yet. So I think what this gives me is this thing comes after 1 person in a night. And the prioritization, I think, might be random. I think it's just, it goes after one of the people who've seen it. I just think the list of people who have seen this thing is 4 people, and 1 of them is dead. One of them is that guy at the newspaper who died that night. The second one is the second person to die. And I think that's why you know something weird's going on, is it's the same MO, despite the fact that they are a town apart or whatever. Close enough to drive, but not close enough to like walk.
It's funny that the people who are initially infected are the like conspiracy theorists of the town who are going to be like at the bar rambling about this stuff, showing the printout to people, whoever looks at it, even besides the like shrugging off ignorance damage by giving it to other people. These initial folk just like to tell people about Bigfoot. So they're going to be doing that until you catch them and stop them from doing it. And then anybody they've infected is going to be spreading the news because it hurts them physically in their mind.
Yeah,
to not
they want
tell
to
other
share
people.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, it's not even. It's not even a newspaper. I've written it's a zine. Like, it is truly a completely indie underground thing. That is going out to these victims. These victims are being attacked, from beneath their beds. The first few are these kind of fringe conspiracy folks, and so people don't take it too seriously. When somebody holds up the newspaper with the picture, are you dead now that you've seen it? Because how do we protect the players? Can you kill this thing? Can this thing die?
I think yes. If you're prepared, you can shoot it.
You can set a trap.
And you survive the night, and then it re-rolls the next night to another person.
Okay.
You never know if it's going to be you or if it's going to be one of the other 15 people who have seen it. It's always a gamble.
So the end of our cryptid adventure needs to be Okay, so the end of Cryptid Adventure is no one here is exposed anymore. The four of us are, and that's our hook for the rest of the path of the adventure path is,
Mhm.
and we need to chase this thing down. Why? We aren't safe ever again, right?
Yep.
Right now, hey, you know who knows about this thing? The three of us. And so now it's like, okay, great. For arc 2, we're sleeping in shifts so that somebody's
Yeah.
always awake.
Every night we
and I
get
think
attacked.
every night they get attacked and almost die. When you shoot this thing, it just vanishes. It disappears into a puff of ephemera. And then the next day, you're like, all right, let's go back out and see what the fuck we can do tonight.
I think that it's going to be really funny the first time a player's like, well, I'm just going to sleep in a sleeping bag so it can't get out from underneath me. And it jumps out of the closet and attacks you. Like, it's so funny to me that that's going to be the next step.
The immediate shenanigans,
You'll
right?
be- the worst thing is it still comes out from underneath the sleeping bag. That would suck.
Grabs him. Oh! Yeah.
That would just suck.
Yeah.
The question now, how do you save the people then that did find out about it?
You don't. You just keep more
Okay.
people from finding out. Because
Cool.
if you tell them about it, what I like about this, the thing that I think makes this work in the specific trope of cosmic horror and occult horror that we're tapping into that I really like is this feels really supernatural because you don't understand. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, what you're seeing basically, what this guy holds up to you on the newspaper is basically like, what is it in Japan? It's a kanji where it means like a whole little, where it's a single symbol that contains quite a bit of information. It's like, hey, here. And it's like, oh no. Looking at it means if you could speak Valen, you would immediately know a government secret for an alien government 10,000 years in the past. That government is dead. It has been, the star that they orbited died and burnt away. And when it did, it ejected bullshit across the galaxy. And this is one of the pieces of bullshit that got ejected. You find it and you know it now. Even if you don't understand it, doesn't matter, man. You set off a claymore mine, and it doesn't matter if you know what a claymore mine is. It still got set off, man. That sucks. So I think those
And
people are done.
I feel like a push to Act 2, if the party is like dead set on saving these three guys by like staying with them every night and keeping them safe, is just you get a report that it's spread to a town over.
Yeah.
Like more stuff is getting sent out to other towns. You need to go to the source. You need to leave those guys behind to fend for themselves.
I think also I think you also don't need to worry too much about it. The solution might just be, hey man, it's a convoy now. Congratulations, you're in 2 RVs, and every night
Yet
you all
again.
pull over and sleep in a big circle, and half of you stay awake with guns. And that's
so
what you're
funny.
doing every night.
I was like, it'd be fun. One one case that happens, person sees it and they get hit in the head via amnesia. It stops the curse. They no longer
if you
remember it.
forget the image.
That's funny. It's a fun, like, partial solution that you can get in, like, Act 2 or 3, where if somebody gets this thing, you have worked with Pixie. You find an agent of Pixie who's like, oh, I can make them forget that. You make them forget it, but you still need to get to the bottom of who's sending out the information.
I have a fun twist that I think works. So you need to not be cognizant of it when you go to sleep. If someone goes to bed absolutely shit-faced, can they not be attacked that night?
That's pretty
Is
fun.
there not
It's-
enough? Are they so like swirled around that the image never locks somewhere in their memory over the course of the night? So then
It's
our victim
fun.
isn't random. It's whichever poor bitch dreams of the symbol.
It's fun, especially if we make one of the first 3 people a drunk, so they don't get targeted. Like, even if the other 2 die, that one still doesn't. You're like, you read the thing, right? And he's like, yeah. And you're like, and you haven't seen the monster? And he says, what the fuck are you talking about? And every night he's in a stupor. So you can...
And I think
do that
eventually,
out.
no matter what, he ends up sober. And like it's just
Yeah.
he ends up in the drunk tank. He's sober. He's like crying and complaining about his headache because he has a crazy hangover. And then the monster comes that night. And if that doesn't make the parties catch on, I don't know what will. To them being
Yeah,
like,
you're like, oh.
wait, we can do this. Because the other option that I think is fun is if the party is clever enough to figure that out, what they might just do is be like, all right, the three of us get drunk every night for a week while we try to solve this case. Every night ends with us drinking a fifth of a handle of vodka and going to bed. I think
Which is
pretty
fun
funny.
for the party who does that, because then, as a DM personally, I would be like, I'm going to send out a different threat that they're just hammered for. Like, how are they going to escape this problem?
Yeah.
Here's Bigfoot.
Yeah. Key kicks in the door. No, something like that.
All right, do we want to move on to sort of patch 2? Do we want to move from cryptid to the next one? Or do we want to zero in and be like, okay, let's name these people, let's name this town, let's figure out what the mystery is?
We did get a comment from Brambles. What if there was an unknowable role where something the DM establishes for the creature randomly changes each night? That's where the idea of the monster being different for each person who's heard about the monster,
Yeah.
et cetera, would come in. So that's fun.
I like the idea that we
Very fun.
lean into the psychic nature. I think that this creature is infinitely more dangerous if you think it is unbelievably dangerous.
Mhm.
And so I think that also gives our party an edge that I think is really exciting. I think when this creature comes after the party is like, we're together. We've seen things like this before. We can handle this. I think I know roughly what it's going to look like. And when night comes, it looks kind of like what they think it's going to look like. It is manageable, and they do manage to handle it. When a random person imagines the horrifying thing under their bed, what the hell do they picture? Right? And so
Yeah.
they've got no shot, not because the players have plot armor, but because their ignorance stat is too high. Having a high ignorance is terrible with this thing around.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're a normal person, you're like, there's something underneath the bed. What if it's got knife hands or whatever? Can I say something? It's really
That's
funny if it's straight up. Because we could just put in the comment of the adventure, like, if your players want to have it show up, if you want to, have it be Art the Clown. Like,
Yeah.
have it be a pop culture reference. Have a Chucky doll
Mhm.
run out from under the bed and kill somebody. It takes the form you give it, regardless of what that... It could be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, dude. It could. Like, it could.
It's really fun when each person describes something different. They're like, I saw a werewolf. I saw a boogeyman. I saw Art the Clown. Like, it's always different because each person's biggest fear is different. The thing that they imagine under the bed.
If there wasn't
we
this
did
sort of...
kind of.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We did kind of just make it the clown.
Not really.
We made it a little bit, but that's
Just a little bit.
It chooses to pursue those things. This thing being a different monster, given perception, is different. It is like, this guy's afraid of this, so I'm gonna be it. This is
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, this thing isn't
It
feeding on your
becomes it.
fears
No,
one-to-one.
no.
This thing's just hunting you down, and it takes the shape that your psyche creates for it. Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. All right. So now do we want to move on to arc 2, or do we want to drill down on arc 1?
Let's move on to
I
arc
think
2.
move on.
We've got 40 minutes.
Okay. So cryptid stage 1, there is a monster under the bed. You track this thing to this place, you follow the chain letters, you find the victims, you manage to keep them alive for a while. Hopefully a really long time, we'll have to see. Stage 2, after cryptid, is elder. This is where things get a little bit more strange, where things get a little bit more unearthly. Our example from our previous stream was finding a Sasquatch is a cryptid. It is a dangerous, ape-like creature that you find. You kill it to discover that it is one of the disappeared people in town who has been devolved into an ape man. Stage 2, the elder, is you track that person's journal and you find this prehistoric square mile of occult. Thick oxygen sets you to giggling. Something has been devolving this place. And at the center of that, you find a seed that was planted in the ground. And then from there, we move to, okay, what tree did this seed come from? And that's stage 3. So stage 2 is you expand the scope a little bit and you get the sense that you are connected to something kind of truly strange. So at the end of Arc 1, our players have no idea that this thing is a security system. All they know is if you see the symbol, this thing comes for you. That's what they know. So if we take one step back, what is step 2? Is it the newspaper and finding that there are all these papers that aren't in circulation, or is that still stage 1 cryptid?
That's still stage 1. That's cryptic.
So
I think the next step is finding where the logo came from.
Yeah. So okay. So step 2 is where the hell did this icon come from? Where did this person find it? How did they get a hold of it? Was it buried somewhere on Earth? Was it something they found? Did they dig it up from a riverbed? Did they steal it from a museum? If we want to keep this conspiracy kind of whip going, and our connection is this conspiracy newspaper, an idea I really like is this traces back to a, like, because you're going to find this guy's dead body because he's already seen the icon and is probably already done for. I kind of like the idea that this is a, like, conspiracy theory John Brown who broke into a black site and killed a bunch of people and ran out with 2 big banker's boxes of files, not knowing what was it. So basically, to use like Delta Green parlance, this is some random asshole who broke into a green box, put everything he could hold in his arms and ran out like, I knew the government done this, and like set it all out on his kitchen table. And so in that case, we aren't necessarily following this trail of this icon. We start to follow the trails of many dangerous artifacts that have gone out. Or did this dude steal this one thing? And now you're kind of investigating his own research into it. I know this is it's a little tough here because it needs to be the right scope. We need to not just do Cryptid 2 Electric Boogaloo. But what do you think? Do we have any early ideas? That's what sort of immediately popped up in my head.
I think that it's a fun, like, complication if he has 3 things where it's like, yeah, you still need to figure out the alien artifact that has been spread around. You need to figure out what the fuck is going on with that so you can solve the problem. But at the same time, he also found the puzzle box of death, and that's in this town, and he found the dagger of unyielding souls or whatever, and that's been stabbed into that guy over there. So you got to deal with a slew of issues where the core problem is still you need to figure out where this symbol came from so you can shut it down before it, kills you.
Okay, so I think then in step 2, we gesture to the fact that there is some dangerous repository. Let's say it doesn't need to be a government black site. All you know is somewhere there is more shit like this. And I think you roll up, you find this guy's crazy compound. We're back to compound guy. Inside, he has already been killed. Like, obviously. He was one of the first victims. You find that tablet sitting in his house somewhere. In a secure room with 2 other things on the table. I don't think they're somewhere else because I don't think he had time to send them. I think he took a picture of this thing, mailed it to the newspaper, went to bed, and died that night. You arrive, you see this tablet, and 2 other things. And you're like, okay, what the fuck are those? Like, what are those? What do you mean? What do we do with those 2 fucking things? So now my question is, are these 3 items closely connected? Did these all get pulled off of the same alien craft? Or are they completely unconnected items? Is it a stone tablet, an obsidian crysknife? And the big twist is the party keeps trying to figure out how these 3 things go together. And it's like, hey man, they do not. Like, the twist is they are unconnected artifacts that were brought together and thrown in a garbage heap somewhere. Or is it these 3 things are closely tied? I think in option 1, if they're unconnected, then I do think we're chasing down some, like, amorphous treasure hoard of scary bullshit. Option 2 is, no. In the heart of the Catskills, there is a crashed fucking ship with stuff on it, and someone needs to go do something about that crashed ship.
I think we go with second option.
It is fun. Hear me out.
Hear you out.
This guy's dead.
Of course.
Guaranteed.
Passed away.
That's what happens to that guy.
R.I.P.
If there's one thing I know about government conspiracists, I think it's that they are so anxious and paranoid that they would have a secondary person, and they're like, if I ever go missing, this is the combination to my safe. And then that person, when they go missing, has to go get the stuff. So I think that there is another lesser conspiracy theorist who has the items and is probably fucking shit up in the town that you get to next. So then it's a task of figuring out who this other, whatever guy is, this idiot, finding him, figuring out what items he is now messing with, so you can be like, what's going on? He's your, like, connection in the town.
So the bad guy of Arc 2 is the QAnon shaman.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
This guy's already dead, but now his friend has got the stuff, and he's terrified.
Okay, so immediate follow-up. How is this guy alive?
It just hasn't been long enough.
Is
I
he
think
just
the first arc is pretty quick.
Oh, so you're thinking like it takes you 3 or 4 days to do Arc 1, and you show up, you check the CCTV footage of this guy's house, and somebody broke in last night.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy waited 2 days. If you don't hear from me for 48 hours, come get my items. Otherwise, the government's going to take them from us. Like, he waited, and now he grabbed the stuff.
And I also like that because that means this guy showed up, and he was like, all right, let me check on him. He's probably drunk. Showed up and was like, oh my God, they got him. Oh my God, they got him for real. Was it real this whole time? See,
and
now,
then he sees the 3 items.
See, now, for my GMing style, for me, the comedy isn't the second guy is also a conspiracy. We don't need to do this. My comedy style isn't that the second guy is a conspiracy theorist. It's that the second guy is his brother-in-law, Thomas. Yes. And Thomas is a certified public accountant who had a key to his house and is like, what the it was real? He comes home like shuts the door with a big bundle. His wife's like, what do you have? Nothing. Nothing, and runs. He sprints into a room, slams the door to the basement, and refuses to go outside. Why hasn't he been killed? Thank you so much for asking. He has not slept in 3 days. He has
bloodshot.
He has 5 Zin pouches in his bottom lip and 2 more up his ass, and he is drinking a Monster Energy drink and just shitting his pants in his basement.
He 100% does have a tinfoil hat on because he thought it worked.
Just in case.
Apparently.
Just in case. Everything he could have out. He's lined the room with salt. He's wearing a tinfoil hat. He's doing all of it.
Okay, do we like is it literally like a brother-in-law? Is that funny?
Yeah.
Are we not into that?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. It's fun because he also won't really know anything. And I think that that's great. He'll be like, yeah, he told me he was going to this spot in the woods. But he also told me that he visited Mars once. So, I don't know.
I love that because that'll make the party go, did he go to Mars? The party be like, did he go to Mars? Okay.
There's like a red rock in his office, and you're like,
did he go to Mars?
Maybe.
All right. So what makes this a step up then? So that's my next question. So the brother-in-law thing is funny. I love the idea that it's like this guy's been consumed. And I like the idea that you can be like, hey, we've talked about how we think for the eventual source book and adventures, we're going to put like box text that's like, if you want your adventure to be funny, like if you're shooting full pulp, here's what we would do. Here's the thing that you should do. You could also do this. Like, this is the side out. And that's where we would put, like, the monster appears as Chucky the doll. You know what I mean? It's like, or you could do this. So I think this is that guy, right? I think it's very funny. It's like he shows up. Maybe this is very grim. He never believed him. He feels terrible. He's guilty that he never believed him. He thinks that somebody killed him in the middle of the night. He's been scrubbing through CCTV footage. You find him and he's researching these 3 items as hard as he can. Option 2. In the box text, you arrive to find a man who has wrapped his entire apartment in aluminum foil. He threw his microwave out because he said he was afraid they were listening through it, and you're not sure what that means. He has an encyclopedia from the local library open. He has torn several pages out and glued them to the walls and connected them with red string.
Yes.
He
Yes.
thinks he has figured something out. He underlined and bolded. He has not. Right?
No.
So that's option one. So I like that. How does this feel more existential and terrible than the cryptid angle? What are these 3 items that this guy has found? Sounds like we're favoring these are 3 connected items that are connected to some ship that crashed out in the middle of nowhere, some Tunguska explosion style nonsense.
Yes.
What is it about these 3 items that will make the party immediately go grim-faced, we have to do something? Because most likely this is our second to last arc. So we have one thing that kills anyone who sees it. That's bad. What the fuck do those other 2 things do?
I just think now that it's no longer the security, it's the aliens are looking for it now. Is them, it's not just their security system.
Yeah, if the security system was going after those who had seen the icon.
Kind of tier 5-y though, isn't it? If the hostile, deadly, super advanced alien force identifies that their terrible secret is on Earth, isn't that the ball game?
It could just be the aliens from the ship itself. It's not the whole alien estate.
So are they stuck here fucking, gray style?
It's a crash landed ship, so we established that. So they're stuck. Especially if this just recently happened and the conspiracy theorist had been like watching newscasts and listening to the hikers talk about how there had been like a flaming wreck in the middle of the woods where there's no roads, and he went to check it out and he grabbed the stuff.
Ooh.
That would make sense.
I have a pitch.
Yeah.
It's like 2 a.m. This guy's watching the news. A breaking news broadcast comes on that this has happened. There's footage. He sees this Tunguska style, like, acre of forest has been cleared out. He's like, holy fuck, it happened. The next, he's all hopped up on Mountain Dew and, whatever. Maybe because of the items he has. The next day, the news footage is gone. No one remembers what happened because Pixie came in.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, I saw it. I knew it's true. He went out there looking for it and found it. And so basically, like, Pixie comes in, cuts it out of everybody's memory, but Hunt hasn't come in yet and taken care of the rest of the problem. And he managed to get there in that window, in that, like, 12 hours of gap. He managed to get there, get these 3 things, and get out. In which case, I do think maybe there can be something alive in the ship. So I think then that's got to be tier 3, because so tier 2 is deal with these 3 items, handle them, figure it out. It came from this ship. We need to go find the ship. You arrive and the ship is, and in tier 3, the ship is full like ET white tinted, and you need to decide whether or not that's something you need to get involved in or not. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe those guys showed up and got killed. Maybe you show up and you find a destroyed van and a bunch of dead idiots, and you're like, "Oh fuck, it's us." These guys, these guys couldn't do it, but we have to fucking do this. So then I return to my faithful question: what do these other 2 things do? What is the existential threat? What is the like really bad thing? Is one of them a weapon? Is it data information technology? Is it an accidental doomsday device? Is it a plague in a bottle? Like what? Something has to be going on here that when the players arrive at this guy's house, they're like, oh fuck. And we can spend 2 sessions solving the problem. If there's 2 scary things on his desk, what do you do if the players show up, ice the brother-in-law, and take the 3 things? So that's all I need. I need to know what is there that makes this threat a big deal.
You talk about like the soul sword or the soul dagger. It doesn't work with our setup, but I was thinking like it'd be fun if like a serial killer got a hold of the soul dagger, and if it nicks someone, it makes the person, it eats their soul and they go catatonic.
I think it's a good idea for another adventure
A different-
is that
Yeah.
is a serial killer gets a hold of something actually occult. I think that's hysterical. Okay,
Yeah, in
so
this scenario, it doesn't quite work though.
so let's think about what has crash landed here then. They have on board a secret, and that secret is protected by this thing. So it sounds to me like what has essentially crashed into Earth is a Brinks truck. This is like an armored car that has crashed here. So if there's two more things in the armored car, what does that tell me? That means that this guy runs into the ship and he sees three grabbable items. One of them is this artifact, which is a bag full of money. What are the next two things you grab? In my mind, you grab a gun and you grab like a bulletproof vest. So do we find this guy with like a big like is there like a cannon? Like what is he? That's in my mind what I imagine. You throw open the back of the Brinks truck, there's money, there's equipment, and is there anything else really? Maybe a radio? Does he grab a radio, a walkie? Did this idiot grab a walkie-talkie, a bag of money, and a gun and run out into the woods?
Oh, the idea that there's like a blinking like rod and you're like, what? What is that sending a signal out to? If you don't deal with this problem fucking quick, then the enemy alien force is going to show up. You're like, what?
Yeah. So he throws open the back doors. He grabs the bag of money. He grabs the radio. The radio is this blinking fucking thing. He's been walking around town holding it up because every time he holds it up to a TV, the TV goes to static. And so he's been walking around and just like doing shit with it. Like, what is this artifact? Like trying to figure out what it does at night. So he's like, hey, my brother, my husband's been out every night. I thought he was cheating on me. I followed him and he had broken into a department store and he broke into a Best Buy and was walking up to the plugged in TVs with this rod. I don't know what that is. Michael, what's your thought?
It's actually not my thought. Percival Prime on Twitch. I said maybe throw a little green ghoul in there, just a little fella.
There's always a green ghoul.
There's always a green. I think it could be fun. An item that was grabbed is like these aliens' pet. It's just a green little ghoul.
It's
pet.
Fibblethop. Fibblethop runs around, doesn't do anything.
Can I make a pitch that the weapon is like a biological
little green ghoul guy?
Like, no, what I'm imagining is this is going to be a real outside the box reference, but like 4 people are going to get really excited when they hear this. In the speculative sci-fi fiction piece All Tomorrows, they describe a future of humanity where this alien race called the Q roll up on humanity, and the Q are the worst beings to ever exist. They genetically redesign the universe every few years to fit their like grisly vision of reality. And one of the things they turn humanity into, they make humanity into a series of like pets and horrible monsters spread across multiple planets. And one of the things they turn them into is like biological tools. Like a biological tool. Like something that evolves to be a hammer or that evolves to be a gun. So is this like a green living little, is this too like, what do we, I kind of like the idea that it's the grimdark version of those guns from that like Xbox exclusive game that the Rick and Morty people made.
I was thinking of that game. I was trying to think of the name of that one.
So is this green ghoul like a little gun that shoots teeth and you're like, what the fuck is this thing? Like,
it's so
it's
or is
a
that
secret of the universe.
Or is it too goofy?
It's a little goofy. It's a little goofy to have it. I like, hear me out. Keep the little green guy. It's the alien folk are still alive. They're probably just scouting the area trying to survive currently. So the aliens that exist can be little green guys that they're not the threat. The threat is the knowledge that's on the ship. and the armada that's going to come here to the homing beacon. So the little green guys could be the actual aliens. So you hear like references around town, like, I swear I seen one of the green men in the woods the other day, and you're like, what?
All right, so we don't want to do biological living gun.
Yes.
But so you crack open the back of the Brinks truck, you grab the walkie-talkie, you grab the bag of money. So what's the gun? So somebody tell me about this gun. My first concept, biological weapon that shoots teeth. Like, absolutely grim, horrible beyond measure. A moth the size of a dinner plate just whacked into my window. What the fuck? So if it's not that, what is it? Like, is it... I want it to be hard to use. I want it to be something that is hard to figure out, but I also want it so that when you use it, we get that scene. You know, the scene where they accidentally set it off and it blows a hole in the wall and they all go and like look at each other like, how did we do that just now? Like, how did that happen?
I like it as like the first step of terraforming, which is it just sucks the oxygen out of the immediate area. So you like unlock this Rubik's Cube puzzle of a device. It clicks open, and then all the oxygen pulls from your lungs and pulls from the room, pulls from the building, and you're like, oh! And you slam it shut so it stops. But if you left it open, all oxygen would go away. It just pulls it in and destroys it.
So,
something that could be kind of funny, but also make it so it's weird to use. It only works if you use your non-dominant hand.
That's the last thing. You have to unlock this series of cubes and then pull it open one-handed. Use the left. It's fun because they're doing sort of thought-based combat stuff with the monster. So you have to go against your ingrained belief system of using your dominant to use the left. It does make sense.
So what I kind of enjoy, so I think what I'm imagining then is like a Rubik's is I think it's like a Rubik's cube on like a stake. It's like a long stake, and what you have to do is you have to stab that stake into the ground, and then you need to press the combination on the Rubik's cube, and immediately everybody starts to get lightheaded. And so what happened the first time that guy set it off, he started to get woozy and pulled it out of the ground, and it stopped working. And I think if the party activates it and lets it run a little too long, I think when you pull it out of the ground, it's not a single stake anymore. It will have started to like splinter off into roots. Because I think this thing is meant to stick into the ground, and then over the course of like a month, it converts a bubble that's not meant to be big enough for you guys to be like, oh, we're stranded. Because let's think about what this is then. This is these aliens being like, oh, we're stuck on this planet while we wait for pickup. We're stuck for a year. All right, activate the dome, and it creates like a half-mile bubble of their ecosystem that they can just sit in while they wait for another ship to arrive. Because I want to be clear, when they land here and see the state of human civilization, they go, oh, this world's uninhabited. It's like, but there's things there. And they go, yeah, but like, as far as they're concerned, they're like, yeah, but it's not sentient life. And we're like, I feel kind of sentient. And they're like, yeah.
You're not there yet.
So you realize that there is this thing, cable stake roots, terraform. So what I like then is, so this last thing that this dude pulled out of the ship is a life preserving, is like a safety, is like a security blanket, is a road flare. So that's what he has.
And it's especially funny that that's what he has, because the people on the ship, the aliens, are going to be so pissed that they're stuck wearing their space helmets or whatever because they don't have their bubble of safety. They're like, ah, no, the things that we wanted.
So now I need the conflict. I have items. We have the subject of our scene. I'm just waiting on the conflict. So this guy has these things. He's being cagey. He thinks it's all real. He thinks his brother-in-law wasn't nuts. His sister's like, I hadn't talked to Frank in years. I don't know why I don't know how he pulled my husband into his nonsense. And then you find the husband and he's like, Frank was right about everything. Like, I can't
Mhm.
stress that enough. So what's the conflict? Why is this not a 20-minute conversation where you come up and you say, all right, you have those 3 terrible things? Yeah, we need those. What do you mean? We need them. Well, I'm not giving them to you. Ah, that sucks. Like, what keeps you from shooting this guy and burying him in the Pine Barrens and just taking these 3 things? Is he immediate thoughts that pop into my mind? He activated the bubble thing in a state park and has been arrested and is in jail. Those 3 things are in an evidence lockup, and you're like, fuck, what? And so it turns into a like, we need to break this idiot out of jail so that we can get his 3 stupid things, because that creature won't attack whoever's carrying the rod or whatever. Like, it won't, it contradicts an order in this thing's circuitry, right? It has its 3 laws of robotics, and those counter. It can't kill somebody who is holding this bleeping rod or whatever. So
That's pretty fun.
is he in jail? Did he immediately run out to the woods and is like, has nobody heard from him for days, and he went out to a cabin somewhere and you need to try to go like track him down? You arrive to find an oxygenless alien planet that is taking up half a mile of space because he did activate the terraforming thing, and so you have to hold your breath as you run inside. There's a lot of options. Oh, do any other ones jump to mind, or do you like any of those?
I like him being arrested. I think that this is another chance to interact with Pixie, Stud, Cobb, because they would have a special interest in the items that he has. So if you show up there and you see, like, in your mind, the feds who are asking this information, you're not going to be like, oh, great, Studs are here, we're good. You think, oh shit, it's the feds, they're not going to know what to do here. So you're going to try to get the items, break that guy out of jail, have him lead you to where his brother-in-law said he went to get the items, because he probably told them and he hasn't lit that spill yet, and then go there. So it's about getting him out of the hands, unbeknownst to you, of a governmental agency that deals with these problems.
Okay, so I think I like this. So we have like a weird 3-tier situation. So I think tier 1 is you guys. You are trying to get these items and solve this situation so that this problem goes away. Tier 2 are the feds in town. Pixie. Oh, I'll give it a little pause while Spencer quells the pups. Tier 2 is there are feds in town. It's the Studs, it's Pixie. Somebody's in town to clean this mess up. Tier 3, the tier your characters don't know about, is the reason that Hunt is here is because the tower got a ping. And so it's not that they're coming here. It's not like they're going to kick in the door any minute now. But that's like the interplay between the 3 forces is you're like, the most important thing is to get those artifacts away from that guy. And then Hunt rolls up and is like, hey guys, I know that you are thinking on the local level. This could get a lot worse in the next couple days. Our priority is not keeping that guy from accidentally killing this city. It's a nice city. It seems fine. Our priority is keeping the tower from dropping a hydrogen bomb here. Like, that's what we're stopping. And I like that because it gives you a reason to be in conflict with these agents, and it's just a problem of scope. Is the agents aren't going to be like, let's explain it, because that's not how agencies work. They're going to be like, get down on the ground. And you're like, we'll never, you fuckers, you FBI, you don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. And there's a big shootout. I think that's great. What is the item, the original item that you've hunted down? What does it do that it needs a security protocol?
I see, this is where we're going to get into the way that cosmic horror wants to be a little unsatisfying. To my mind, the answer would be it's like the battle plans for a battle that happened 2,000 years ago. It's like, what is it? It's a memo. It's correspondence that was sent securely, but the ship crashed. It's not important. That's the cosmic horror answer is it's basically a phone number, and it's just a bummer that you saw it. It's not important. It doesn't do anything. It is a it is a stack of papers with top secret stamped on top. That's what you found. You can't speak the language. No one on earth will ever be able to. You just fucked it, man. You just found the thing you shouldn't have found. That's not a super satisfying answer, because Cosmic Horror does not want to be satisfying. It wants to be annoying and to make you feel small. Do we want to avoid making the party feel small? Do we want to make this something more substantial? Or do we want to stick to the bones of the Cosmic Horror genre, which is, this thing doesn't matter?
The only other thing I would do besides it not mattering would be to make it like an arcane tome, where you learn a secret through studying it.
Yeah.
And this is where you get the loss of ignorance, like big scale in this adventure, is if one of your players is like, I'm going to study it. Every night I'm studying this item, trying to figure it out. You go, great. And eventually you unlock a secret and it's going to fuck you up.
Now, my secondary question would be, how does anybody do that and live?
I just don't think that it kills you.
Well, but that
What do you
creature
mean?
is now hunting you for good. You're gonna slip up. Are you gonna stay awake every night for the rest of natural time?
I think when you know the secret and you can completely grasp it, like the aliens who are transporting it probably understand the secret, or at least some level of the organization knows it. The creature is meant to stop people from studying it. If you have the time to learn it and grasp it and really figure it out, the creature is no longer following that directive. You know the secret. You are not an enemy trying to discover it.
That's interesting.
You have it.
It also motivates why this creature exists a little bit in a way that I like, where it's like, why have like such active, why not lock this thing in a safe? Why have such active defense? And it's like, because we need our people to be able to look at it. We don't want to lock it away forever. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's important.
It
Good
is a
for us to
tone.
know.
I want to be and then my only counter would be, there isn't a line in the adventure ever that says this stone is unimportant. The party just never figures out what it is. It's just a stone, and if you've seen the symbol, you die. So do we like the idea that you can try and study it, or do we like the idea that it's like, what is this? It's a rock that kills you if you look at it. Because
I
my
like
only
that there's
question,
something to study, but that's because I like magic and my Cthulhu stuff, and this is a good way for me to get it.
yeah. So then my only follow up is, how the fuck do you read it?
Little
I think
green
that it's-
ghouls.
Is there something on the ship you need? Because we know you can't understand it, because a bunch of people have
Yeah.
looked at it, they've dreamt about it every night, and they don't understand it. So my only question is, we need some way for you to understand it. Is there, I don't know, what's some cosmic horror? Is there like a goo that if you touch it, you can speak their language now? Is there a little bug that you eat that lets you speak it? You know, is it some shit like that? Or is it just you spend so long attuned to it that it starts to loss of ignorance style? Does it just weasel its way in? And just the reason that the other people didn't learn it is just that they didn't have the time.
I think that is the second one is what I would originally go for. But I was considering if this ship was meant to bring that secret planet to planet across their empire to give the people that need that information, I could see there being something within the ship that, like, you enter into the chamber, and if this stone is placed on that plinth or what the pile of goo, then it beams into your mind as an instant understanding. That's one way to do it. Or you can spend days and days and days and days
I
studying
think that's
it.
fun if that is never explained. I think
You
it's
just
vital.
have to do it.
I think you bring the stuff back to the ship, because I think that's going to be the player's instincts, is like, we have to bring this all back to the ship. I think if they start smashing the stuff, I think that also works and is objectively the happy ending. I just don't think any players are going to do that. So they bring the stone back. You're going through the ship. You're like, we need to put it back? ? And you see this cylindrical room with a thing that it looks like it fits on. And so the professor goes, I'll put it back. He turns back, a single tear in his eye. It's been the honor of a lifetime. Sets it down. The door's shut. And you're all like, expecting him to get incinerated. It opens and he's like,
I know, I see it.
I see it now. I see it. Cascading eternities. Like, and it was some guy's Chinese food order. Like, I don't know. No, but it's some great profound secret that his brain immediately is fucking melting as he perceives. And by the way, if we wanted to get really pulpy, what is this? What's the magical secret that this gives you? You can tell that dog what to do.
Oh yeah, you have the command word.
You can tell that dog what to do. You can issue a command once a day, but if you ever fuck up too bad, you forget part of it and the thing starts trying to kill you again. That would be mine. That's how I would do it.
And the ship is long gone at that point, so you're never going to re-understand it.
Yeah, if you ever fumble, you can't remember the full secret enough, and then you lose command of the demon dog, and now it doesn't do what you say.
Terrible curse.
Yeah. I love all that. I have one other idea, and it just ties in the librarians. It would make something true for them that we hadn't really talked about, but could be a fun idea. And I think it fits the librarians pretty well. Every big what we call them, branches of the library.
We haven't gotten that specific.
Cool. Whatever the big branch of the West Coast, East Coast, whatever it is, has a secret keeper that is how do you explain it? They have the secret of language, and it's just a constant between every branch. Yeah, they have tongues. That keeper, they're basically catatonic, but they know every single language of the universe.
I really love the idea of a librarian who is basically a spirit writer. It's like, oh, what secret did he gain? Oh, the great secret of language. Oh, what does he know? He doesn't really know anything. They show up, they put the plinth in front of him, they put a pencil in his hand, and they give him a beef jerky stick, and he just starts translating and eating the Slim Jim. And just writes it all out freehand, puts the pencil down, sits back, and keeps eating the Slim Jim. And they're like, yeah, that's all he can do now. And you're like, great.
He can't fit other secrets in his... That's the thing about knowing every language. There's not enough space in there for the other secrets.
There's
he can
no
write it,
room
he's never
for
going to remember
anything else. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
he's
room
good.
for any... He can remember to breathe, which is tight. Like, we're really appreciative about that. So what then I'll say is, if we want to introduce that as a faction option here, we should have the feds be competing with... We should just have there be a librarian agent in town who's trying to find the secret before the feds do. That might overcomplicate things a little bit. I don't love the idea that our factions always show up in force and are like fucking Team Rocket. I don't want that to be true. I like the idea that your exposure to, I think, again, box text. I think in the adventure, it is 3 agents of Pixie are here. That is enough to contain this problem. They will be able to authoritatively do that. You guys are the problem. If the Seekers stopped, they would be able to handle the situation. You guys aren't stopping, and they aren't stopping. And that's it. No one is ever going to walk up to you and flash a badge with a little pixie on it. No one is ever going to say, we work for PIXIE. An anonymous person is going to walk up to you in the street, say a phrase you've never heard before. You are going to immediately fall asleep and wake up 3 days later. And that's what dealing with these guys is like. And then the box text says, alternatively, these are 3 agents from Pixie. If you want to name them Oberon, Titania, and Puck, and have them full Team Rocket style doing hijinks to stop the characters, that can also work if you want this game to have a different tone.
Yeah. I think it's great. I think that Pixie always ostensibly acts as the FBI. They're not going to say, I'm an agent of Pixie. They say, I'm an FBI agent. Their names can be a bit of a giveaway, Agent Glade or whatever.
Yeah.
It's always like little references here and there so you can pick it up. And at one point, if you go too far, they say, like, sleep, and you fall unconscious.
You know what?
You're like, what the? Who was that?
You know what I like?
What?
It's like the Transformers, where it's like, oh, we're Sector 7. And someone's like, there's only 6 sectors. And you're like, uh-huh. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
for
right.
sure. You do have to do what I tell you, though. And you're like,
Uh-huh.
damn. All right,
I
for
see.
sure.
I see.
All right.
So yeah, you don't find out that they're Pixie until late in the game.
Okay, and so then I'm gonna ask. It sounds a little bit like we've wrapped here. We're out of time, which is so this is sort of natural. I guess I just want to answer one quick question before we sign off. I think that's a good litmus test for what Elder should look like, right? It expanded from taking up a small portion to a large portion. The population size that is at risk went up. I think that's all great. My only remaining question is, does this have an outsider lift? Can we take, when you arrive at the crashed ship, is there an outsider threat? Are these little green men actually violently dangerous and existentially a problem? Like, are they something that we need to handle? Are they tier 3? Or when you approach with this items, does like a stick bug walk up to you and like snatch the things out of your hand and go back in its ship, and you're just like, great, nice talking to you too, my man,
Goodbye.
I hope you have a great rest of your day. Like,
I think
Michael, what do you say?
if we want to keep them as little green ghoulmen, we could make it they are a semi-hive mind. What they know, the hive already knows, and that makes it outer worldly bad.
I
there's
feel
just
like
no
there's
solution.
not. I don't think that there's going to be an extra threat. I think that when you get to the location, it's dangerous because it's kind of a fucked up area,
Do you
and you
need to
have to
kill these two things?
do all
Like,
that.
what are you doing? You say that like the ship's going to take off, but the ship's crashed. They would have left already. They would have gotten these items already.
Mhm.
Is there a threat? Is it we need to kill those two green ghoulies? We need to load that fucking spaceship with C4, and we need to make this problem not be a goddamn problem anymore. Like, we need to solve this shit. Or is it you arrive, the ship is wrecked, you find two dead bodies, you find these two aliens, they didn't have their terraforming cube. They died. Whatever tanks of air they had ran out. They're done. And you just go on to the ship with and you like see this big open bay of these antennas, put it in an empty spot and it stops blinking. Take this crazy cube, put it on a rack of the rest of the cubes, and then take this tome and put it on its stand. One guy gets knowledge beamed into his mind, and then as you step outside, 55 hunt vans arrive, and you are escorted from the premises. And congratulations, you are a seeker now. This is an introductory adventure. They tell you, is it the policy? Does Hunt not kill people that find the secrets? Do they just say, keep this on wraps or we'll come for you? In
Yeah,
which case,
I
there's
think.
no conflict. It's unload the shit. You did it. If there's
Mhm.
conflict, you arrive to see destroyed Hunt vans, dead studs all across the floor, and there's some shit to do.
I don't think that there's an extra conflict. I like that their one and only form of defense was this creature, and if you best it probably gets more dangerous through the nights when you're coming closer and closer to understanding the cube. It's probably attacking harder,
And there
so
will
it gets worse.
kind of naturally be fewer survivors.
Yeah, so it's more guaranteed
It's
to be
still a
attacking you.
D100 system. Your odds of surviving are still not very high.
Yeah, it's not
You
great.
know what I
It's
mean?
not great. So yeah, you show up there, you put the things back, and then the vans rip up and they blow up the ship or cart it away or whatever.
Cart it
They do the
away.
thing that they do.
Cart it away. Yeah.
And they say, I wouldn't recommend doing this anymore. You should probably go home and never work on a project like this again. And your players say, I think we're going to anyway. Stinger, and it fades away.
Yeah, and we'll just say, and in that case, we just learned something that I think is really interesting about the world, which is if the tower finds out that you know something, you get iced. That's it. That's the end of the game. You're done. If Hunt figures out, I think they hand you a business card and they go, how much worse did this get because other people got involved? Here's a business card you can call. Cobb will answer. Call us if something goes wrong. Have a great rest of your day. And they just head out. Because, I don't know, I don't like the trope of we kill everybody who helps us, because it just doesn't make any
Yeah, it doesn't
sense.
make any
Like, you're going to
sense.
just run out of people to help you.
It makes sense for the tower and the tower alone.
Yeah.
Yep.
The tower wants as much normalcy as physically possible and will kill to achieve that goal. Hunt is like, we just need to keep America safe. If you can tell us something that's going on, we'll join in. Like, they don't need to kill you.
It's funny to think that they just have like a really intense deputization process. The other option that would be fun for the end of an introduction adventure to the system is at the end they go, great, and they hand you an application form and a W-2 and they go, congratulations, you are all members of Hunt. And you're like, well, I don't know if they go, shh, I didn't ask a question. I didn't actually. You might have noticed. It's either that or Agent Oberon wipes the last. How much do you have to take? Oberon's head pops in. I'm gonna have to take like 5 years to make sure we really gut it. So
Yeah,
you'll
that's
think
pretty
you'll think you're 23 again. And the guy goes, huh, for real?
How much are you paying? How much are you paying again? Yeah, deal. I'll do that instead.
It's fun for the end of an introductory adventure to be like, and your characters are now NPCs. Now you're ready to play the game. I do think is a little funny. Okay, so then we're going with that. We're going to say that the ending isn't you end at tier 2. This is like an intro, like nice, pretty easy to handle adventure. And at the end, you do what you do. I think option 1 is I think in the book it says your characters flee in the woods as flashlights approach, blah, blah, blah. In boxed text, forced recruitment. The pulp ending for this adventure is everybody gets Men in Blacked and now you're all members and we see you all in suits 3 weeks later.
And that's great for callbacks later on, where you're like, a new agent has walked in.
Oh, that's good.
Agent Dust is here, and he looks just like the old character. Like, oh, it's him! It's me!
Yeah. That's good stuff. I love that. It's Spider-Man! All right, with that, I think we have wrapped this up with a nice bow. We have a fun little 2-parter adventure here. I think this was a blast. I'm starting to understand the setting of the tower a little bit more, and I like the boxed text mechanic. It lets us make really silly big swings, and then at the end go, all right, boxed text. Okay. In the box it says that. Let's figure out what it says in the adventure module. I think is fun. All right, with that, you stole an extra little 3 minutes on our hour-and-a-half counter there. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you tune in next time. Go watch Prince of Charming. New episode just went up. We're wrapping up, right, Spence? How much do we have left?
There's 2 episodes worth left. I really wanted to end at 13 episodes, so I might do some cutting and bashing for the last episode.
There will either be
one super cut.
There will either be 2 episodes and we'll end on episode 14, or you can expect a real thick sode for our next one, and you can just tune into the finale as it stands. And so we'll see. It'll go one of those 2 ways. I guess the only way to find out is to go back and listen to all of it and then catch the finale.
It's only 12 episodes right now. It's not even 12 hours long. It's like 10 hours worth of content.
Yeah, and I want to take a little time. Let's say it here, and we'll say it a few more times in the future. This is Spencer's heroic effort to trim a stream down to an audio cast. We are now targeting audio cast in our future projects, so you will expect a little bit more consistency of timing. Spencer's out here with sharp sashimi knives, cutting episodes from streams where we have technical difficulties and silly goofs and taking breaks to do other things. So some of those episodes are like 30 minutes, right? Some of the shorter ones are like 35, 40 minutes. So it's, there's a fun variety in tone and pace there. I think there's a lot of fun to be had. But with that, thank you all so much for... No! What?
I'm sorry.
This better be good.
This is a quick question for both of you.
Spencer, prepare to judge this
is the last day before Halloween month. Do we want to do... So we usually try to do something for Halloween Do we want
Yes.
to try and do something for the month of October? Like,
Yeah, so
like
last year-
every
full
week.
spooky
last
one?
so last October was Monster Mash. We did monsters for all of October. And I think we did Monster Mash for our first October as well.
Probably.
Probably.
Because we have a kind of horror setting up in the air in the form of the tower, that's up. We could also try to make a kind of grim dark setting. We'll talk about it off channel. We'll definitely do something because we always do. We will do something for the month of October. So expect a couple of fun, sort of Halloween themed streams to occupy these next few Tuesdays. Michael, I give that question a 4 out of 5.
Oh, I'll take it.
4.5 because I didn't realize how close we were.
A
to
4 5.
Halloween.
4 5.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's
Like it's
October.
next.
Yeah, tomorrow's
Yeah.
October. 4 5, not bad. All right.
So good reminder.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. We will catch you on the next one. Peace out.